morning, everyone. My name is Norris Tyrone Darden. I am your candidate for City Council District 2, and this is our Thursday live talks with the candidate. So we're not going to keep you long. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that you have the best information possible about the candidate. Number one, to make an informed decision. Number two, we want to ensure that you know exactly what the role of the city council person once elected is. And beyond that, whoever you elect, we want to make sure that you know that they have a plan that benefits you, benefits your family, and benefits this community. So again, my name is Norris Tyrone Darden, and I am your candidate for City Council District 2. So let's just hop right into it. Couple things that I want to talk about. Number one, I want to talk about the duties of a city council person. And I say city council person because a city council member can be a man or a woman. It doesn't have to be just a man like we used to say city councilman. Another thing I want to talk about is one of my 3 R's. My first R is rescue and relief. My second R is recovery. And my third R is revitalizing our community. And so, again, that third thing is probably the most important thing because that's what's going to help our community be here for years to come. We must revive it. But first, we must rescue ourselves, each other from this devastating COVID situation, and also from this winter freeze that we just had that many people are still struggling from. I'm still hearing from people that are saying they still don't have water, and that's a major, major, major issue in our community. Let's start off with the duties of a city council person. A lot of people do not know what a city council person actually does. And so I want to go over real quick what those things are. Number one, how city council races or city council districts are set up. You have to live in the area that you wish to serve in. That's important. That's key. Because how can you make decisions on the behalf of people that aren't your neighbors? And so I can honestly say that I'm overqualified to be in city council because I've been in my entire life. I'm 41 years old. For those who know me, Gates Elementary, King Middle School, and Sam Houston High School. And then again, I've taught in the district my entire life. I've taught at Davis Middle School my entire life, my entire professional career. Davis Middle School, Sam Houston High School, and now at George Gervin Academy. So that first requirement is this. You need to live in a district because you need to know your neighbors. You need to understand the landscape of your community. So once you get in, what are you doing? So you have to put together a great staff. The number one thing that I believe that a council person should have is great constituent services. What is a constituent? A constituent is the residents, the people who the elected official is supposed to be representing. And so constituent services would be anytime someone needs something from the council office, there's someone there to answer that phone, to respond to that text, and meet the needs of our constituents. So putting together a strong office of well-educated people, and when I say educated, I'm not speaking on degrees, I'm speaking on educated in the community, educated on policy, educated on the things that are going to move our community forward. You have to understand constituent services. So that's the first role, to be connected to the community. The next role is going to be this, policy. And so when we talk about policy and we talk about ordinances, there's different things that we have to look at. For example, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know that in San Antonio, you have to be 21 years old to purchase tobacco. That was policy and an ordinance that was passed several years back by our city council and our mayor. And so things like that are important to know because they impact us all the time. City council also looks at resolutions. So recently, and I know Pharaoh, who's also running, and Nika and several other people are part of making Juneteenth a paid holiday for city employees. That was a resolution, and that policy was put into place. That came from city council. And so thinking about things, what does a city council person do? No, the city council person isn't the one that goes to Washington isn't the one that goes to Austin. It's the one that goes downtown and advocates for your roads and your sidewalks, advocates for your streetlights, advocates for your basic services like your trash pickup and sanitation. These things may seem small, but they're huge things because we need those simple services to have a high quality community. So beyond that, because I'm trying to make it very simple, but beyond that, the city council person does have the responsibility to advocate for the constituents. And with that being said, let's say there's an issue in your community. Let's say it's a crime issue. Your city council person is obligated to address that because that's what they do. The San Antonio Police Department, the San Antonio Fire Department, and all of our emergency services fall under city council. So if you have an issue with your local law enforcement, if you have an issue with your fire department, if you have an issue with your services, the response time, things like that, your city council person, it's their duty, it's their job to advocate for you. The other part is this. I know we went through a terrible time through that freeze with no electricity, no power, and then even our water was shut off. Well, for those who don't know, the city of San Antonio and you, the residents, own SAWS and CPS. So again, the city council members are here to advocate for you. So if your bills are too high, if you feel like you're being overcharged, if you feel like the services you're getting are not comparable to the fees that you're paying, your city council person is responsible for that because SAWS and CPS are utilities through the city. If anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to ask them. I see Christopher Ray. Hopefully I'm saying that last name correctly, but infrastructure. We're definitely in charge of infrastructure at the city level. When you talk about streets, when you talk about drainage, there's so many roads and streets in District 2. When it rains, they're flooded. They're not flooded because we're in a floodplain or anything like that. They're flooded because we don't have the infrastructure in place for the drainage. When we pass these bonds, and we're probably going to pass the next bond, $1 billion bond, those things are supposed to be addressed. But we've been dealing with those same issues, Chris, for far too long. And so for me, as a city council person, please know that I'll advocate for those basic services like infrastructure. Again, if there's any questions, comments, concerns about what the role of the city council person is, please feel free to ask, and I'll respond to them in the chat. Beyond that, though, ultimately, the city council person is your advocate, and you are their boss. And that's why we have elections, because if the city council person is not living up to their duties, it's up to you as their boss to fire them and replace them with someone you feel like can ensure that those duties are being met, and not only met at a high level. The number one thing, just to recap, constituent services. I use the play on words for my name, call Tyrone, and help is on the way. But the reality of it is this: as a city council person, you need to be available for all citizens and all their needs. It's not about who voted for you. It's not about who donated to your campaign. It's not about who you like or dislike. You were elected to serve all the people, and that's for every city council person. So hopefully I've done a decent job of kind of giving the basics of what a city council person does. But ultimately, anything you bring to the city council, it should be addressed. Even if it's on a state level, a county level, on a federal level, it should be addressed. And so that's why relationships are so important. City council members should have great relationships with their state reps, with their state senators, with their county commissioners and their county judges, as well as those U.S. Congress people and those state senators. U.S. senators. Even beyond that, the water board, the CPS board, our school board. We should have some great relationships with all of those elected and appointed officials, because ultimately we all should be doing it for the same reason. We all should be doing it for the betterment of those residents that we serve. Going right into that, I think it's best that we talk about why I'm running. For me, my ultimate goal is this. I want to bring District 2 into a place where we're not compared to anyone based on our crime level, our poverty level, but we're looked at as just as important as any other district. Yes, we have a lot of obstacles, but at the end of the day, we can get through those obstacles. So let's talk about recovering from COVID, recovering from the winter freeze. There's so many resources out here. We need to make sure our people are connected to them. It goes back to constituent services. The city council person can't tell you what you want and what you need. We need to ask you what you want and what you need and work with other entities like the nonprofits, like the churches, and like other businesses and make sure that your needs are getting met. So in our recovery plan, we're going to leverage our role as the city council representative. And we're going to work with all entities to build coalitions. And with those coalitions, we're going to make sure we're tapped into all areas of our community. It should not matter how much money you make. It should not matter what your skin tone is. It should not matter what your level of education is. Everybody deserves a high quality of life. And so in our recovery plan, small businesses, as well as large businesses, our schools, our infrastructure, our healthcare system, all of those things are going to be addressed over the first 2 years in office. And you're going to be able to judge what progress we've made. And like I said, the constituents are the bosses. And you'll be able to say, you know what? You get an A or you get an F and you're failing miserably. But regardless, we're going to be working together. There won't be any Fs. Failure is not an option. That's the only F that we have. Finally, before I close, because I know time is precious, this Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have a volunteer block walk. If you want to participate in that, please text me at 210-378-3618, and I'll give you more information. You can email me at teamdardensa@gmail.com or go on the website at www.teamdardensa.com and send us a message. But we're going to get our information out. We're going to get the word out. We're going to reach as many people as possible and let them know that our candidacy is important, it's real, and it's serious. And we want to fight to the end to ensure that every citizen in District 2 has everything they need to be successful. Again, I want to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns after the live goes off, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll chat later. Vote Norris, Tyrone, Darden for District 2. Thank you and have a blessed day.